I will never defend the men who make amends with the enemy's friends. I will never pretend. Alrighty then, and good morning, VVN. Good morning, VVN. How is it all hanging for this Sunday morning here on the Adorable Anarchist? I have finally dropped the world. If you've been watching my Facebook page at all, I took out the world, just decided to stick as the Adorable Anarchist from now on, and wow, it just hit me. My bottom of the screen thing did not come up, so I'm just going to add that real quickly. But anyways, good show here today. So to start it off, we are brought to you by Distance Arts. See that painting back there? You should totally go on Etsy and go buy it. Help support this show. They're not too expensive. Plus, they just make for a nice thing to put around your room. A few of them also have blacklight paint in there too, so you put a blacklight over that. It looks freaking amazing at night. So if you want to help out this small little show on VVN, it would definitely be helpful to go to Etsy, or hell, even contact just the Distance Arts Facebook page and try and you can work it out. You know what I mean? And there's my logo. There we go. Alrighty then. So what else is there? My other sponsors. Oh yeah, Pontiac Tribune. Second article is up about Spanish Catalonia secession. Thought that one definitely came out better than the Pink Floyd one. Seriously, go check out the Pontiac Tribune's new website, which is now up. Helena and Aaron were both on Abby Martin's show recently, so please go check out that video of them performing. It was really good. What else is there for sponsors? Oh yeah, Win Privacy is a sponsor too. So was it White Cloud Security is the other privacy one that sponsors all the people on here? Yeah. Well, I'm kind of excited to see Win Privacy finally get out there once the finished product is done, because I think it's good to have competing companies in the marketplace. I think it really is good for the spirit of VVN to have different companies like this, just to show that there's other options out there in the marketplace. Alrighty, so petty bourgeois. You're probably wondering by the title because of last week, the petty bourgeois strike back. And if you didn't see my last week's episode, I pretty much set up a thing saying that the people who follow Russell Brand a lot of times end up being those petty bourgeois you see in a Starbucks or someplace like that. And one of them left like a paragraph of a comment on my last video. And first off, I just want to say thanks for at least saying may my snake rest in peace. That means a lot. At least you didn't just go full on troll mode and just start ripping me a new one. It's always nice when you can get someone who tries to present something intellectual. So let's see some of the things this person says though about Russell Brand, and this is kind of where they lost me a little bit. They say that I'm missing the point. Well, I'm just kind of trying to talk about what Brand has been preaching pretty much. That's what I'm trying to critique. And this person then goes on to say he doesn't go around pretending to be some intellectual or leader of a revolution. His agenda is to simply use his celebrity to promote the obvious flaws of our ridiculous system and potential paths of true representation of the people. Okay, that first one I agree with. I do think that he definitely does try to use his celebrity status to try and, in a way, awake people up. And in a way, I don't think that's a bad thing. I even kind of talked about that last time. That's not really what I have a problem with. And him going around pretending to be some leader of a revolution, he kind of has been trying to do that, it feels like. I mean, the way he's been trying to parade himself around against Fox News on all these different shows. I mean, he really is trying to market himself as a sort of revolutionary icon. You can tell. Excuse me. That's why I need to get those edits in here to edit stuff like that out. All right. As for the whole leading people on true paths of true representation of the people. Yeah, your republic idea will only lead to more power being given to people who don't truly represent you. And even if you go down the democratic route, you're most likely let's look at some of the democracies from history. We have Athens and we have pirate ships. And in Athens, they voted to kill Socrates. So when it comes to democracy, no matter what, you're going to get that sort of mob rule kind of thing. There's still going to be leaders. There's still going to be rulers, even within a democracy. But they're going to try and play it off that they're on an even playing ground as everyone else. So either way, even if you try and put faith in some sort of democracy, then as opposed to a republic, it's going to be failed from the start again, because eventually those sociopaths, those psychopaths that find their way into republics and corrupt them, they will eventually find a way to corrupt a democracy as well. They probably already have. I mean, for Christ's sake, democracy's been around for such a long time. There are probably many different ways that they could. All right, continuing on with what this person says. Revolution, the book that Mr. Brand wrote, has been written like that long before Ron Paul. But again, you're missing the point that he is not trying to be original in his ideas in the book. He consults knowledgeable experts and literature to explain political and economic issues and situations, and talks about the need for a conscious and spiritual awakening, Buddhist philosophy. Well, Buddhist philosophy. Well, first off, if you're saying that he's trying to be original in his views, that's not really at all what he is. He's a straight up utopian socialist. He's even said, "We need a socialist utopia." I mean, hell, even Marx would see him and stand by and be like, "Yeah, keep me separate from him. I'm one of those scientific socialists, not one of you utopians." Just I'm trying to steer. It seems like the utopian ideas try too hard to get a grasp on human nature, and that's why I generally found myself walking away from them when I was younger. I mean, they try too hard to really control human action. There's too much of that command economic perspective that it all ends up falling apart eventually in your own head. I'm surprised. And, you know, there's always those people who keep going because they don't want to let go of the idea that they've come so hard to know. And really, I don't know if that's the case for Russell Brand. I met a lot of people like that back when I was a socialist. All right, continuing on, because I'm kind of getting off subject here. Yeah, there's nothing really original about him, but coming before the Ron Paul revolution, that came in 2008, dude. And I'm pretty sure Brand's released a few other things before this book in that time span from 2008 to now, including a stand-up comedy special that kind of got him to the status where he is today for advocating revolution. All right, continuing on. Oh wait, yeah, the Buddhist philosophy thing. Well, kind of tough luck there because I'm not really a Buddhist. I'm more of a, if anything, I lean more towards Taoism. But if anything, I'm an Epicurean. I don't view all desire as a bad thing, like someone like Brand would if he's Buddhist. Because not all desire has to be bad, and that's another reason why I think the market is an okay thing. Is because desire exists within the market, and does it have to be a bad thing? No. Could it be channeled in a negative way? Of course, but then again, it always can, and that's a result of human psychology than it is the market itself. All right. He is serving as a messenger whilst trying to learn more and allowing others to learn from him. He is clearly joking about the con in economy. He doesn't actually believe that! Explanation points. Yeah, but either way, it's definitely still something worth checking out. I mean, people still critique the hell out of the jokes that are made by someone like George Carlin. If you want to know that anymore, just go on a Christian's Facebook page. You'll find tons of them taking things out of context and doing things, and then making, jokes about it. You know what I mean? The thing with Brand is just even the joke, it kind of just continues this whole anti-economic thing that you sort of see with a lot of people today. This sort of anti-freedom, more pro-Keynes or Marxist ideas, which seem to be more big with the people around me today, unfortunately. All right, he doesn't actually believe that he doesn't like graphs because the media often uses them to mislead the audience and push an agenda. True. That is true. However, just because the media uses graphs to push an agenda does not mean that we could use graphs to show that the media is full of shit or show that the system's full of shit. or to show all sorts of other things. Graphs are useful. Just because some people use them to mislead other people does not mean that they are not useful. Graphs are just like anything else. They can be used as a tool. Going on. GM are far more likely to implement planned obstacles. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit bad with my lip reading here. As it benefits them financially, and that's a clear priority. Okay, this has to do with the whole GM or different car companies making faults in their cars just so that they can sell more. And you know that's fucking stupid on GM or any company's hand, because you release a horrible, horrible product in the marketplace. For instance, let's take, for example, brakes that don't stop. People die. People are not going to want to buy your product after that. You're going to turn away a lot more people than I'm sure you would gain back. It makes no sense. Even from a corporate standpoint of something planned by the states. Even then, I don't think they were sitting around thinking, we should release some brakes that don't work. That way we can have a recall. That way people will have to buy new cars. What's that? The people who return the cars didn't buy our cars? What's that? More people aren't buying our cars? Oh shit, we are fucked. That's pretty much what you would see if that did happen. I mean, it's like I'm not going to say that GM isn't a horrible company, because they most certainly are one of the worst companies out there today. I don't even call them General Motors anymore. They're pretty much government motors at this point. But the thing, I don't think that they would. It's like that whole New Coke and Coke Classic thing. I don't think they intentionally made New Coke just to lose tons of money like that. All right. The reason he's a voice of our generation, as you put, is because he is the only celebrity truly willing to take on the powers that be and has professional cost. And people can relate to him because he shares the same message as many of us, and he promotes the change we want to see, and he gives us hope, not because he is some genius intellectual. Oh, the intellectual savior of our generation, Russell Brand. Oh, man. I'll tell you, there are just... And my biggest criticism isn't that he is the savior. No, I get that. My criticism is that he is the one that you chose. Now, as I said before, on a level playing field of a bunch of stand-up comedians, there's a lot of other ones out there who have been pushing similar things. Joe Rogan, one who I didn't mention last week, is another example. He has his own podcast. He's a comedian. He does a lot of stuff to really wake people up, and yet he doesn't really have the same amount of attention as, say, Russell Brand. He's definitely still a relatable person, and me personally, I could definitely say that his podcast definitely helped me at a time in my life when I wanted to try and work out more, try and become more healthy. I mean, like, that's still something, like, there's still something to learn from it. As for promoting the change we want to see, if anything, he's only promoting, this is the thing that I forgot to bring up last week, that just as soon as I turned that camera off, I remembered what I was going to say. Brand's idea for a revolution is just a revolving door. I mean, it's just like leaving one cage for another. It will eventually lead to a ruler, to a hierarchy eventually. I mean, really, I would love to hear from Brand on this. And what I'd most particularly love to hear is why... there was one time that I heard him talk about anarcho-syndicalism, and it started to make me turn my head like, okay, maybe there's hope out there for this guy. But you know, what I'd really like to hear is, if he really wants change, why not something like anarchism without adjectives, where the individual is free to choose their own destiny and sort of a marketplace of different adjectives, ideas of anarchy. For instance, if one guy wanted to go join in a voluntarist group, then he could. But if a bunch of other people wanted to join a syndicalist commune, then there's no problem with that either. I mean, I would love to hear why Brand wouldn't advocate something like that. Instead, what he pretty much wants is market command. He wants state command force, and that's the reason why I just don't think he works very well. I mean, if anything, I feel like he's a fifth column to our generation. And in case you don't know what a fifth column is, that's someone who infiltrates, deceives, simply for the purpose of destroying from the inside. And I'm not saying that Rand is a fifth column, but the more and more I see him out there, the more and more I think that that's what he is. And I see a lot of people on Facebook who are automatically assuming he's a puppet of the Illuminati, which I don't think, but still. All right, moving on. And once again, that person who left that comment, thank you. Nice try. Thanks for saying that. Rest in peace for my snake. That definitely means a lot. Who knows? Maybe I could have you on sometime so that we could discuss this further. Who knows? We'll see. All right. Anyways, on to the next subject, and that is nihilism. Nihilism. Oh man, the dirty word that people on this network seem to be very split about. Corey from Christianarchy has it out for the nihilists. It seems like it always seems like he does. I've never actually responded to any of his things that I've seen on Facebook, but I always see him going after the nihilists. And you know me, I'm one of those guys who I have a deep love, a deep passion of philosophy. So I met someone recently who was once a nihilist, isn't really one anymore, but it really made me curious to look into it more. It was like when I met someone who was into the Stoics. I later went in and looked into it more, and granted, while it wasn't the perfect philosophy, I definitely thought there were things to learn from it. And for those of you who don't know about nihilism, a lot of anarchists I've noticed tend to be nihilists too. Even ANCAPs I've noticed. There's certain ANCAPs I've met who are nihilists. So I'm not totally against nihilism. I think it has its place, that's for sure. Is it perfect? I would say not. But here's what nihilism in short comes to the conclusion to. It is the rejection of all religious and moral principles. Mainly because that comes because of the acceptance that everything in life is subjective. Even the meaning of life itself is subjective. And because the meaning of life is subjective and it can have meaning given to anyone because of the subjective value of it, because of this, it means that nihilists come to the conclusion that everything is meaningless and everything is pointless. Because everyone is giving meaning to something, there's meaning to nothing. And in a way, I can understand that perspective. However, with me, I kind of also come to this conclusion, well, because everything means nothing, that means that we as individuals finally have time to build something. And that's always been my personal perspective on it, which they told me that sounded more atheist than anything, and maybe it is, but I think that's kind of my thing that I took away from nihilism. And you know, it definitely is a really interesting philosophy, and I'll definitely have to look into this more, look into Nietzsche more, and really kind of reasons for editing. But I'll definitely have to look into this more and try and get some more people to talk to about nihilism. Hell, if I could ever get a conversation with the guys from Christianarchy on here, that'd be nice. But yeah, no, the things that I did find really interesting about nihilism really had to do with the whole skepticism and the cynicism of things. There really is a sort of pessimism around it, and I consider myself a realist, to be sort of in the middle between optimism and pessimism. So I guess that's why I'm sort of interested in this too, because I'm able to recognize the good areas that are definitely worth recognizing. However, as I said before, just because everything is meaningless, that doesn't mean that you as the individual can't give meaning to it. I mean, that's why I'm a student of Viktor Frankl, of his logotherapy, which I have not discussed on this show, but I really should, which, long story short, we all, even when there's the horrible points in life, there's always meaning, kind of thing. So even if there is nothing, you have time, there's space for you to build meaning for yourself. And that's kind of the way I see it. I know for a fact that is not nihilism at all. But in a way, that's kind of my way of building off the idea. And is that atheism? I don't think I can consider it that, but a lot of people would. And I'm now reaching the end of my time, it would appear. So anyways, go check out Distance Arts. Here, I even got my other painting right here that I still need to sell. Go check us out on Etsy. Fuck's sake, get us some money here. We really, really need it. It has not been a nice month when it comes to money, to say the least. Let's just say that. Win Privacy will be up soon. I just need to hear more from the developer on that. And then get a code up here to give you guys so that you go get a discount on that, which I'm hoping that a lot of you are waiting for. And then hopefully we could have a little competition, see who really is better, Wind Privacy or White Cloud Security. Have a little market competition, go at it, see, do exactly what the fuck the market's good for, you know what I mean? All right. And finally, go check out the Pontiac Tribune. And, oh, one final announcement. Now then, if any of you follow Distance Arts and have seen my site, it's distancearts.flavors.me, go check it out. You know that I try to link everything together, and I work on a lot of different things. This podcast is one of them, the Pontiac Tribune's another. And I know I'm going to be able to add a third one to this repertoire of things that I work on come December, hopefully. Because I will be doing a podcast with 2 other people about music mostly. Because music has also been a great passion of mine. And it's not really the type of thing that it's really meant to be discussed on here. So more should be coming out about that soon. I'll give you a name and everything. But we'll actually be doing a podcast so you can listen to on some podcasts. So an actual podcast, not this whole video thing that we're doing on here. So yeah, if you want to hear some more about music, we'll definitely have some updates about that in the future. Probably make that into a sponsor. If I don't get up to 4 fucking sponsors, god damn. But probably end up dropping some. Anyways, reaching the end of my show. Sorry, one viewer. And for anyone who somehow managed to make it to the end of this video, this is Mitchell Wiechek, the adorable anarchist, remaining optimistic in the age of imperialism. Oh wait, I just used my old thing.